absolutely.
I think what we had talked about before was the science. The science has come so far,
Right.
And we were talking about what
Does it make you better?
Does it make you better at what in what sport? Does it make you better in all sports? At what level?
Right.
We talked about baseball. We talked about the big scandals with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa and Barry Bonds. Well, we're talking about baseball, and you know what? I'm gonna quote John Kruk from the Phillies, and this is nothing against baseball players because I played myself. When he was on David Letterman, and he said, I'm not an athlete, I'm a baseball player. So, it was very funny. That was very funny to me. So
it speaks volumes.
But it speaks volumes, absolutely. So if we're talking about baseball, what does steroids do for you in baseball? Does it increase your hand-eye coordination, your timing?
Right. And Steve said it gives you a huge edge, and we could agree to that. It
does something different.
But you have to have the skill first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think cheating is more than just steroids. There's EPO in cycling or endurance sports. There's stimulants. There's all kinds of stuff. So it kind of runs the gamut. And the science, does it give you an advantage? I think Lance Armstrong's a great example of how big an advantage you can get.
So how we talk about cheating? Also part of that is scheming. It's the strategy, the playbook.
Yeah.
You're on a team where the coaches are like, we got to win. I don't know why. Maybe he wants to keep his job, or there's money waiting for him. Even at the amateur level, he wants to keep his AAA hockey team. He wants to coach next year in the juniors or something, right? He's forcing guys to play dirty, that kind of thing.
Well, even if we look now, money is the biggest part of any sport today, is it not? Well, even at an amateur level,
right?
Money comes into play.
Look what the kids are wearing. Oh, just because when we talk about cheating, we talk about advantage, right?
Sure.
And these kids are now sort of ingrained where they think, I have to have the best uniform. I have to have that silk-looking jacket.
Right.
I have to have the $100 stick. Dad, I can't have a wood stick. I need the Flex composite.
Yeah, I'd like to put this to the panel. I would like to hear a discussion on what's sport for? Right. What role does sport have in society? Because to me, I would like to see sport to be less professional. Professional sports to me has almost become, not even almost, I think it has become a caricature of sport. It's an absolute caricature of sport, and I don't know that it really brings any value to society.
So who's responsible for that?
I think we all are.
No,
I think we all are. I'd like to see
pulling the triggers
promotion.
Is it the executive directors running the leagues?
I think it's all of us.
I think it's all of us.
We're voting
if we sit
with our
down,
wallet.
yeah, exactly.
Agreed. So who do you go to then? Who do you go to? I guess I'm pressing a point here. Who do you go to complain, to make a change? You go to the coach?
I think we all have to make a change.
Yeah,
and I'd love to hear Steve's opinion on what role sport has in society. To me the question is, as a bunch of people who decided that getting together and doing things together is going to benefit us, and now we have studios and homes and heating and all this stuff,
right.
And we're not living in the woods and foraging for food on our own, this benefits us. So this activity that we call sport,
we got to go to break,
brings us a benefit. So, and I'd love to hear a discussion.
Let's talk about that when we come back.
Yeah.
We got to go to break. We'll be right back talking more about cheating in sport and your kids. Hopefully they're watching here on Davidson Live.
What do you get out of volunteering at Rogers TV? You get hands-on training. You gain real experience. You get to meet new people. Most of all, you get to have fun. Go to rogerstv.com/volunteer. Give back to the community and volunteer with Rogers TV.
Well, there's double me in this room.
Looking for the best way to get the Major League Baseball games you want to watch? The Super Sports Pack has you covered. With MLB Extra Innings, you'll have a premium ticket to up to 85 out-of-market regular season games each week, with most games available in HD. Don't miss the action from the games you want from both the American and National Leagues. MLB Extra Innings, part of the Super Sports Pack. For only $35.95 a month, Rogers customers get all this, including a subscription to Sportsnet magazine. Order online at Rogers.com or call 1-888-ROGERS-1 today.
You may not lie.
NBA Draft, Anthony Bennett of Toronto.
The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers or Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Davidson Live. We're here tonight talking about an important topic about our communities and our youth. It's cheating in sport. Does it matter? And tonight with us, again, we have Steve Howlett, Jack Brooks, Chris Dickinson, and Bill Morrison.
You're a person again, Bill.
I know, for sure. So during the break, it was a great conversation during the break. We're talking about really what it comes down to is these guys playing 82 games, 162 games. And Chris, what were you saying about how tough it is?
Well, I mean, I couldn't personally know how tough it would be on that level an athlete's body. But if we're talking about the NHL in particular, we're talking about an 82-game season, plus playoffs. The seasons are longer, the travel is longer, everything is bigger, faster, stronger. Where does it come from? Where do we press these guys to compete at that level, for that long of a season? And how is it possible that it doesn't take a physical and mental toll on these guys year after year?
So is it cheating or is it maintaining? I know, Steve, you talked about when you played pro, you could not maintain your weight. You'd work out just to reduce the weight loss.
You're from the beginning of training camp to the end, your body goes down.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? It's not till the off season that you can start building it up again. And this is where it's to be able to cope and to be able to continue to compete, and it's getting harder. Guys are getting bigger, stronger, faster. And so there's greater demand, and I think the temptation to use performance-enhancing drugs is greater than ever. And then with more guys doing it, it becomes in the athlete's mind anyways, grayer, and there's more justification.
But shouldn't coaches, we see it, would you be telling your kids, hey, I'm going to coach you up so you can go pro? The kids have it in their heads, and whether it comes from the parents or from, we talked about the marketing, the whole Entertainment Tonight aspect of football, these kids are going pro, man.
I always, so I was coaching at the next level is pro. I made it very clear, I'm not coaching you to get you to the CFL. Right. And that may happen, and if it does, that's great. And I certainly want to give you the tools and the skills to be able to do that. But that was not my purpose. Yeah. My purpose was to provide an experience that helped personal growth, and that justified for me. That made it meaningful for me.
Yeah, it's about creating better adults, a better community through sport and learning about teamwork, what it means to win, how to win with grace, how to lose with grace. And how can you as an individual continue to improve and help your teammates?
And all those things are important. And if I'm coaching to get guys to the next level, I'm coaching to very, very few guys. So the rest of them are really lost in that.
You're coaching one guy that might just make it pro. I'm gonna forget about the other 50 guys on the roster. The guys that want a spot, they're on the hamburger squad today, but they want a spot, they want to dress game day. And you're saying, well, you guys don't matter. And I think, that's certainly what I brought to my coaching, I think, or at least I tried, was about creating, quality people.
And experiences.
Right? And experiences. We all love the game, and we're here because we love the game, and we have a common bond that way. And now my job is to help you enjoy the game as much as you can, help you improve, give you a good experience, and play one small part of sending you into the world, hopefully a better human being.
Okay, now many of the coaches would agree to that. But in the midst of the game, sometimes players take things into their own hands, and they got a cheap foul, and they don't get called, that kind of thing. And then, when the player comes off, maybe coaches don't address it. Maybe they will. I want to ask you a question to segue to this. Does on-field cheating create poor off-field behaviors for our youths?
I think it does. It absolutely does. Because
really?
you get away with it on the field. Maybe now. Okay, so I got away with a cheap hit. I know the coach saw me. I did it right in front of the coach. Coach didn't call me on it. Maybe I'm going to cheat on my test, or I'm going to take a little liberty here or a little liberty there. And what you're doing is you're creating a pattern of behavior that then now it just becomes okay. We talked about doping. Right. It's a little bit here, a little bit there, and then all of a sudden now you've created a pattern and it's okay.
I think it's a lack of discipline. I think in both cases. And in football, I have my questions about football, but one of the good things I think about football is that the discipline is you have to be a disciplined football player. Your team's not going to win without discipline on the field. And I think that being a disciplined person on the field, it's only going to benefit you if you're disciplined off the field. It's only going to benefit you if you're disciplined in the classroom.
So when there's an issue, are we talking about a predisposition of these kids?
I don't think it's predisposition at all. I think learned behavior is a really great way of putting it. And if as a coach I accept a lack of discipline on the field, or in practice, or on the bus, or in the classroom, or whatever, then that's the expectation. And expectations, I think, are really undervalued. I think that people, I've been in workplaces where expectations were not laid out explicitly, and so then the expectation implicitly is, whatever.
How upsetting is that?
And I think that expectations can dictate a lot. And discipline is a very, very important quality. You talk about putting, good human beings or a better human being out than you had come in at the start of the year. Discipline's a wonderful, wonderful lesson.
And therein is the benefit of sport, and vis-a-vis the benefit of putting your kids into sport, and whether you're hiring or whatever you're doing. A lot of people say athletes perhaps don't know what they're doing. They're not smart enough. They don't get good grades. That said, to the contrary, Bill, I think what you're saying is you're getting a solid person, solid character, solid personality come into your organization if you get people coming out of sport.
I think if it's done right,
potentially.
If it's done
potentially.
right.
So sport isn't inherently good.
Right.
It can be good.
What we make it.
If it is in an
I think it can be very good. I think it's fair to say it can be very good. And I think it's worth considering and talking about and everything else.
And it can be all those things that you were just talking about. But it has to be in a place that has good, strong core values. And if it doesn't, then it can be very bad.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that boils down to all of us that have coached kids, right? Darren, you talked about it, about whether or not, is it the kids are inherently bad? Is it, is there a predisposition to it? If we as coaches, we're supposed to be the adults. We're the ones that are supposed to know what we're doing and have navigated this world. If we're willing to let the kid do a cheap hit or take a performance-enhancing drug, who's really at blame? Yeah. I think we, as the coaches, and we need to, we've had this argument with other coaches on the after a game. Said, come on, what are you teaching your kids?
Nothing worse than, I don't mind losing, but for the kids, I hate losing when we know that the other team cheated.
Absolutely.
That is just, there's no resolve to that.
I think systemically, speaking about coaching, I think it's gotten better across the board in the last, I'll just throw out the last 20 years. Coaching and the standards we've set, especially in this country for coaching, in those positions, I think we've come so far in that arena. And picking the coaches that we have to teach our kids, are just they're at a higher level and they're held to that standard. And I think it's been a really good, if not great, leap.
Is that the conundrum?
I think the bigger problem is the kid who's using a performance-enhancing substance, even at the high school level. The coach doesn't need to know. The coach doesn't need to know, and the coach may not know.
Or might not want to know.
Well, as a coach, I want to know.
Right.
And I think the other guys that have coached on this panel want to know. But I'm not in that kid's bathroom at 11 o'clock after he gets out of the shower to see him put a needle in his butt or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't know about that stuff. But there's an incentive, I think, that comes from basketball players with wristwatches that cost more than my house. and my 14-year-old basketball player at my house seeing that and thinking, what can I do to get that?
Well,
and that's a message that as a coach, I can't confront that message face to face.
Well, that's called the good foul. Coaching, teaching the good foul in basketball, right?
Yeah, but the performance enhancing or cheating by deflating footballs or cheating by using a bicycle that's not to spec or whatever is not that's not a good foul. That's a systemic approach that I think goes beyond a good foul. Goes beyond
the last Super Bowl, Seattle playing who were they playing?
Seattle, New England.
It was
No,
New England?
or prior.
Yeah, New England, right? Seattle, the very last play of the game, right? They schemed a pick play to score a touchdown to win the Super Bowl. But the New England Patriot DB jumped the pick, intercepted the ball, and the game was over. Seattle schemed to win that game by a pick play. Pick play was illegal in football, but they were more than willing to do it. If they made that play and say the DB dropped the ball, or say Seattle scored,
right,
would we be thinking anything different about it? Would we be going, wow, Seattle's the best team? Or do we sit back and go, that's not a real Super
But again,
Bowl
there's the influence of the money, right? And these are the guys who already have the money.
Right. So
and they're willing to do whatever to get the money.
And I think that one there, when you're talking about the pick play, I mean, we'll understand that. But is the average football enthusiast, who maybe played some football in high school, maybe didn't play football, just loves football, do they get that? Yeah, probably not.
And the 90% of people watching the Super Bowl